Primary risks for cancer include environmental and occupational hazards that affect everyone in one way or another. Environmental hazards appear in the form of unavoidable pollutants, more frequently appearing in more populated and higher income countries. There are pollutants in the air that appear in the form of inversion, exhaust, and pollution. Food and water are exposed to chemical hazards through fertilizers, pesticides, and preservatives. Occupational hazards are more common in lower income countries and areas. Exposure to chemical hazards is common for physical labor and factory workers. According to author Carolina Espina, 63% of worldwide cancer cases are due to overlooked occupational hazards in low-income countries. There are several different ways to protect people from cancer risks. Removal, replacement, and protection from exposure are among the most effective. The process of gathering and removing materials is difficult to carry out for many countries and governments. Most low-income countries struggle to afford replacements for hazardous but necessary materials in workplaces. Protection from exposure to harmful materials is difficult to design and enforce in workplaces. Promoting and conducting primary prevention practices will make it possible to fund and carry out all of these known solutions. The scientists have been testing materials for relation to cancer cases for decades. Because of improper funding and time management, much of this research is vague and incomplete. Hundreds of materials have been labeled as potential hazards. In this situation, governments in countries across the globe have applied the precautionary principle. This involves enforcing laws against exposure to and use of carcinogens or causes of cancer. This can be controversial because of the lack of evidence against these materials, but precautionary action may be the best way to decrease cancer rates quickly and effectively. The most important part of primary prevention is acting quickly. Compared to other methods of cancer prevention, this process takes effect at a much slower pace and on a much larger scale, so it can be difficult to see the difference that it's making. To provide an example, let's say we constructed pedestrian-oriented roads through the entire state of Utah. The idea of pedestrian-only roads was created by scientists with the intent of decreasing direct inhalation of car exhaust. Research has shown that if we went through with this, lung cancer rates would steadily decrease in the state of Utah. A popular method for decreasing secondary lung cancer cases is decreasing the use of nicotine. This handles a much smaller number of cases, given the fact that almost everyone involuntarily inhales car exhaust every day. While it's easier to carry out than constructing roads all over Utah, it won't make a lasting difference. It's important to recognize that this example only covers one kind of cancer and one cause. Scientists have come up with methods for decreasing almost every kind of cancer with primary causes. But because of a lack of awareness, funding, and government action, primary prevention is still out of reach. Have you or someone you know been affected by cancer that was contracted by an unknown or primary cause?
Yes, my cousin was.
Yes, my grandma.
Yeah.
Yes, my grandma was on both sides.
Yes, my great aunt and a cousin street neighbor.
Yes, both of my grandpas.
Yes.
Yeah, my mom, both my grandmas, and my aunt.